Hi, today I'm going to attempt to make one of these paper 3D Christmas trees, and I've made this one, but I'm going to attempt to make another one because they're not the easiest things to make. And I've looked at some of the videos on YouTube on how to make them, and they're kind of hard to follow along, and you have to listen to the music. So I thought I would make a different one where I'm actually talking and taking you through the steps and showing you how I attempt to make this tree. So let me put this back and we'll get started. You just need a piece of paper, and the paper that I'm using is printing paper. You can use construction paper or cardstock, but I had read on some of the comments that it's easier to use printing paper. And let me tell you, if any of you have tried this and have found out that there's a different paper that makes it easier, by all means, please put it in the comments, because this is not something that is easy to make. Once you make 3, 4, or 5 of them, I guess it's okay, but even after I made a couple of them and then took a couple of days off and came back to make one, it was difficult for me. So let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. I am going to be folding towards myself so I can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, if I'm folding away from myself, I can't see. I would have to lean forward and stick my head under the camera, and I don't think you want the glare from my bald head. So you just fold the paper over, and basically what we are doing is making a square. So you just want a square piece of paper. So that's why we are doing this. And you want a nice sharp crease. Everything is with sharp creases. I tried using a ruler to make the creases, and that didn't work too good. So once you make that crease, you take your scissors and cut this section off that's extra. And you don't have to be precise. I'm not precise at all on this. And that's something else. I am mechanically inclined, but I am not crafting inclined, which means that I try my best to do what I can here, but by no means do I know what I'm doing, or am I good at doing this. I just thought I'd take a hand at this and try it. So there is how we had that folded. Now all we want to do is keep folding this to make a asterisk or a star. So it doesn't matter what you do next. I'll just turn it one turn and fold it towards me again so I can see what I'm doing. And try to keep everything straight because it's going to maybe look better. I don't know. None of mine are perfectly straight whenever I'm doing the folding. Now that you have the X, now we have to do the other ones. So whichever way you want to turn the paper. And we have a visitor here. This is the cat. What are you doing, buddy? You going to help us out? He thinks this table is his home also. You're going to have to move. And then fold this over here. There we go. Come on, you're going to have to get out of here because they need to see what's going on. Okay, now we go ahead and we have the star. And this is, I saw one of the videos where they spun the paper like this just real quick. And I don't know if that makes a difference of all of the folds in the same direction or not, but I have all of mine in the same direction. And the cat wants out, so I'm going to have to let him outside. I just let the cat out, and I am sure very briefly he is going to want to come back in, but for the time being, we'll continue. This is the part that is the hardest part, and they just make it look so simple. You take these, any two corners, doesn't matter, but you have to make it, they show that it kind of goes like this, and then they just fold the ends over and just that fast and easy, and it's not fast and easy. What we're trying to do is the crease that is underneath. If you can put your finger on the crease and push it towards. Now, I've made quite a few of these. There we go. And this is what you want. As you're pushing that crease, you want it to fold in. And now you can see how that is going to fold in. And once you have the one side, then the other side is a lot easier. You just push in that crease and fold it over and make a square. Now I have called this the pointy parts and the point. This is one single point right here, and here you can see there are multiple points. So I have the points, plural, to the right, and the pointy part to the right, to the left. I don't know my right from my left. And you'll see that there are little wings, I guess you can call them, little ears, little flaps. You have these two, and then the other two that are down. Just take one of these flaps, and you want to push it down. And this is where I'm having problems with this paper. It goes where it wants to go, and it doesn't stay sharp. And what I'm saying sharp, it doesn't go to a point. And if you're having that problem, I take the scissors and put them in there a little bit. What you're going to do is, see this crease right here, the crease that is in the paper that is folded, you want to match it up right there. And we're all making triangles here. Okay, there we go. So now we have done that. Then we fold it over and fold that over, because we're going to need all the creases. Then you just take the other flap and do the same thing and try to get it nice and pointy at the top, because that's the top of your tree. And just again, this crease and this crease you want to match. And don't worry if these aren't matching up exactly, because they're not going to. And I have to let the cat back in. I just let the cat in, and he just walked all over the table with his wet paws because it's raining outside. So sorry for the inconvenience there, but we had folded those little flaps, and you want to have two on one side and two on the other side. See, there's two here and two there, just like that. You can't bring over the other flaps. You have to turn this over like this. And now you're going to have two more of these wings or flaps, whatever you might want to call them. And you want to do the same thing with these that you did on the other ones. You want to push them down. And again, see how that point isn't going pointy. So just take the scissors and match that up like that. And I have to apologize for my hands. I'm sorry that you have to look at them. My name's not George Costanza, and I am not a hand model, so you're just going to have to put up with my hands. And like I said, I am not a crafter. I just thought this would be kind of neat to see. Of course, this is the time that we have to all stay inside because of what's going on. And I was looking at something. Actually, this is for another project that I want to do. And I thought it would be nice to have some trees in what I want to make. All right, so once you have made this, I call it a necktie. That's just what I was thinking. You'll notice, and if you get these mixed up, don't worry about it. Just as long as you get to a point where you can see where the paper ends and these other parts hang down. And you're just going to want to cut that off. Just like this. And I'm having a little bit of a hard time seeing. And we'll push those off to the side. So now what we have to do is we have to have an even amount of these little wings on each side. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, and on this side there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't work. You have to have an even amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's, I started playing with this like one of those little fortune teller things. I guess that's my attention deficit kicking in when I do stuff like that. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm sorry that I'm taking longer than the other video does, but it goes so fast and they don't tell you what you're doing. Now that you've done this, we're going to do where they cut on each side for the branches and fold over. And this is the other part that I just cannot get right at all. Every video that I have seen, pretty much they cut it, and I'm going to go short because I can always make it longer. They make 3. 1, 2, 3. Then they turn it around and go 1, 2, 3. That doesn't work for me. I have not got that to really work, because what you need to do is you now have to turn these edges over. Like if you ever made little paper footballs, it's at a 45-degree angle, and you'll turn one of the edges over, and then when you come to here, see how far that we have cut. When you go to turn that over, you can't do a 45-degree angle because the paper's not cut far enough. So what I end up doing, and it is more work, but I cut in between those. It's more branches, it's more folding, but it seems to work better for me. And you don't have to cut all the way in, from what I'm finding out, because you only have to go in as far as you need to fold the corner over. So if you cut further in, that's just a wasted cut. Not a wasted cut. Now see, with this one, it doesn't want to go far enough, so I do need to cut that just a little bit further. Okay, and now I can bend this over. And that's what, you know, like when they're doing it real quick and have the music playing, and you run into a problem, just like I am, hopefully I'm explaining something or showing you at least the problems that I have, so whenever you get to do this, you won't have as much of a problem. And that one should be just a little bit deeper. And if you try to make the branches one more cut up here, it's really difficult to bend that little corner over because you hardly have any paper. So then on this side, we'll see how far, if the cuts are good enough. Let's go ahead and bend these all over. And I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me bend these corners over on this whole entire tree. And I'm not even going to speed it up. I'm just going to go ahead and cut ahead. But I do want to show you, once I get this one page, I guess you could call it, one set of branches. Once I get that folded, and you know, even if it doesn't make it all the way, that's okay. Nature's not perfect, and neither are we. Kind of like Bob Ross, you know, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. if life was only that way. So now, once you've done a row on each side, all you have to do is just turn one over, turn a page, or whatever you want to call it. All the cuts should be okay because they worked on the other ones. And then you can just start folding over. And if for some reason that the fold isn't going deep enough, the cut isn't deep enough for you to fold over, you can just take your scissors and cut it a little deeper. It will work. So as I fold these over, you can, well, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. Now that I have folded all the edges of the branches, we can just unfold it. And there it is. There's our tree. A little bit out of shape there. Just move it around. So there is our 3D paper Christmas tree that we have seen other people make on YouTube. Like I said, I wanted to talk on this one and help you through it, and hopefully that helped you. If it didn't, then go ahead and watch the ones with the music if those ones are better for you. And if anybody has any tips on how to make these easier, better, out of different paper or something, leave the comments below and maybe we can try something different. And if you make one of these, hopefully yours will turn out better than mine.